Did you miss pre-orders for the Nintendo Switch 2? I know many people have, and many people are trying to get their hands on one for day one. And there are a handful of different ways you can actually go about doing this through many different retailers such as GameStop, Best Buy, things of that nature. So I'm going to break down the different ways that you can try and get your hands on a Nintendo Switch 2 on day one through these retailers and the ways you're going to be able to go about doing that. First and foremost, I'm going to say if you are not already following Jake Randall over on Twitter, you need to follow Jake Randall also on YouTube. Jake Randall constantly posts new updates on when pre-orders are going up for certain products like the Switch 2. Also talking about when the launch day availability is going to be available for certain stores and how they are going to go about doing this. And this is something we're constantly going to be referencing throughout this video, is stuff that Jake Randall has confirmed. But I've also talked to my local GameStop manager and have a good idea of how the GameStop operation is going to be working. So we're going to start with GameStop. So like I said, GameStop is going to have additional stock, and they say they are going to have units in store and online. Now, I'm not sure how the online portion of this is going to work, but like I said, I talked to my local GameStop representative and I have a good idea of how the in-store is going to work. So they said, didn't pre-order, additional Switch 2 units will be available in-store and online at launch while supplies last. Launch event begins in-store at 3 p.m. local time on June 4th, the day before the Switch 2 launches, and pickups will start at 12 a.m. midnight. Get 40% off extra trade credit, blah, blah, blah. You're able to get some bonuses for trading stuff in toward the Switch. So how this actually breaks down at GameStop, from what my GameStop manager has told me, is that you are going to be able to go to GameStop starting at 3 p.m. If you already have a pre-order, you go in and you will pay for everything. All of the stuff that you pre-ordered that you can pick up at midnight, you will pay for. You will then get a receipt that basically has like a gold sticky star or something on it, and you will come back at midnight and they will hand you your products. You cannot lose this receipt. The receipt is the most important part of the operation. That is what is required of you to show to get your product at midnight. So don't lose the receipt. Now, if you don't already have a pre-order, everything that you can pre-order at that 3 p.m. time on June 4th that they talked about is actually from the stock that is available for launch day. They are letting you secure a console from their launch day stock to then pick up at midnight that night. So you do the same process. You go in, you say you didn't get a pre-order on a Switch 2. They will have probably posted on the door like they did for the original pre-orders how many units they have. You could go in, you can get your pre-order, and you come back at midnight to pick it up. And my GameStop representative told me that this is likely going to be a packed house. He could not give me the specifics on how much they are actually going to have, how much stock they have for the system. This is information that will likely get posted like the day before. They'll have it on the door or something, so people have an understanding of how much. But he did say to me that he's expecting 200 to 300 people at this store. So there apparently is a lot of stock, and there are going to be a lot of people at GameStop for this particular event. My plan personally, I can't tell you all how early to get there. I'm just going to show up at 3. I'm going to make sure all my stuff's good to go. I'm going to get my receipt, and I'm going to get a lawn chair, and I'm going to sit there, and I'm going to play my Switch OLED. I'm going to sit there, play some games, and wait till midnight because I want to get my Switch as soon as possible so I can go home. That's my goal. I'm just going to get my spot in line and hang out and, you know, talk to everybody. I think that's the best course of action. Now, for all of these different retailers, I would recommend, if you're planning on sitting out, take a buddy or make a friend in line so that way you can actually get up and go to the bathroom and do the stuff you need to do, and somebody's going to save your spot in line. I think that's really crucial for this operation. But yeah, on top of just sitting there at GameStop, they're also said there's going to be free Red Bull, there's going to be food trucks and stuff. They're making a whole event out of it, and it sounds really fun. So for me personally, I'm kind of keen to just go up and hang out and talk Nintendo with a bunch of people. That sounds really cool to me. But yeah, you go in at 3 and you basically get your pre-order for the stock that they have for launch day. Now, it is worth noting that if you pre-order a Switch 2 at 3 p.m. June 4th at GameStop, you have to midnight to pick it up. This is really, really important information because the reason for this is that GameStop is not selling the 3 p.m. stock as pre-orders. They are just straight up selling you a Switch 2 from their launch day stock, as I stated. They legally cannot let you pick it up until midnight though, but they can't hold the stock. They have to have the stock available. So you need to be able to pick this up at midnight if you go in at 3 p.m. to secure yourself a Switch 2. This again comes from Jake Randall. Fantastic information over from Jake Randall on this. My GameStop employee did not give me this particular information, so this is really crucial. But Everything else came directly from my GameStop manager. And the best way for you to know if your GameStop is participating or if any of these other retailers that we're going to be talking about are participating is to call your store about a day or two before, just to see what's going on. When I did the original pre-order for the GameStop launch, I called them a couple days before and they said, actually, we have a meeting today that we will have the stock information, so I can give you that information later today. So I just called them back. So they're very willing to work with you. You just need to call them and be respectful with them, and they will give you the information you're looking for, so that way you can secure your Switch 2. Next up, we're going to talk about Target. Now, Target is doing things very interestingly, and Jake Randall as well as Nintendo Prime have both confirmed how this is going to be working. So Target is an in-store only option, and there's no online until June 6th. So you have to go to your local Target to actually check this out and see if this is going to be happening. Now, like I said previously, the best way to do this is to call about a day or two in advance, like I did with GameStop with the original pre-orders for this particular console. And the way both Jake Randall and Nintendo Prime describe this as working is some sort of ticket system, very similarly to how GameStop likes to do their midnight launches. You typically come out a little bit before they open for the midnight launch, and they give you a ticket, and basically that ticket just holds your place in line and secures that you're going to be able to get in for a particular launch. It's really a simple thing. They have said that they are either going to do this through the app, like your app is registered to whichever store you are attending, or they will do the physical ticket where they walk out and hand you one. This ticket secures you the ability to walk in and get your Nintendo Switch 2 and be able to pick up accessories and what have you along with that Switch 2. But they will only have limited stock. So how early to get there? I really can't say. I really don't know how early you need to get there. I'm sure many people are going to be going out and doing this. So getting there early and sitting out, again, like I said with my GameStop, I'm going to be sitting there with a lawn chair and my Switch OLED and just hanging out. So I recommend doing the same thing for Target and being able to just hang out and get your ticket in line. Again, it's unclear. It goes by a store-by-store basis if they're going to be going for a digital ticket versus a physical ticket. So like I said earlier, if you call about a day or two early, they'll probably be able to give you that information to say specifically how you need to go about getting your ticket. But again, you can't just place the ticket order and then show up sometime later in the week to get your Switch 2. You need to be there on launch day to get that spot in line. Otherwise, they're going to sell the unit. That's just how it's going to work. Then after this, Target has confirmed that they will have online stock availability. So after June 6th, they will start posting stuff online again. It sounds like most of these retailers are going to have pretty regular stock, so you'll be able to go in and get them. And I'm sure if you follow Jake Randall, there will be updates on when stock comes back into availability for all of these different retailers. Now, Best Buy is doing things a touch differently than a lot of the other retailers. They're not doing some sort of ticket system or 3 p.m. launch. They're doing this at the midnight launch when they are fulfilling pre-orders. So this is the Best Buy website here, and it says right here, late store openings Thursday 3/5 at midnight. So the launch at midnight for the Nintendo Switch 2. In addition to fulfilling pre-orders, most stores will have limited inventory of systems, games, and accessories for in-store purchase. Customers will also have the chance to receive Nintendo collectible. Check out the full assortment below. So what you can do is check to see if your Best Buy on the website is participating in one of these launch events. Most of the Best Buys are likely going to be participating in this sort of thing. You will be able to just get on and go to one of these events and hopefully secure yourself a Switch 2. Again, it is unclear as of right now. It's not been confirmed or denied at this point if they are going to be doing some sort of ticket system or something to secure your place. So again, probably just want to take a lawn chair in your OLED or whatever Switch you have and hang out until you can get yourself a Switch 2. I would imagine they end up doing some sort of ticket system. They'll probably have maybe 2 separate lines, one for pre-orders and one for people without pre-orders, so that way they can come out and give the people without pre-orders a ticket, securing them a Switch 2, so that way they can walk in and buy the system and not have to worry about stock availability and stuff, and you're waiting all day in line and they don't have stock by the time you get into the store. That would be my assumption based on this, but again, not any sort of confirmation yet as to how they are going to be doing this. Now, Walmart also is going to have stock on June 5th. They have also not confirmed how they're going to be rolling this out, if they're just going to have stock on the shelves that you can walk in and get, or if they're going to be doing some sort of event like GameStop or like Target. This is unconfirmed at this time how they plan to go about doing this, but they have confirmed that there will be limited stock available at Walmart. So maybe call your local Walmart, see if they have any stock and if they can give you any of the specifics, and that way you can know if your Walmart is participating in this or not. The final place I want to talk about in this video is Costco. Costco is also going to have Nintendo Switch products available. It doesn't look like Costco's doing any sort of pre-orders. This is just launch day stuff. They are not doing any sort of pre-order online or anything to that extent, and it looks like they are doing one console per person, which most of the other retailers are following suit for, and they have their prices listed on an ad. I have a tweet here from Wario64. So the Costco prices are listed as follows. Switch 2 Pro controller is going to be available for $75. This looks like a little bit of a sale there. You have the Nintendo Switch 2 Mario Kart bundle with the NSO expansion pack that is going to be for $525, which you might argue is a little bit more expensive than just buying the Mario Kart bundle, but you are getting the Switch Online and expansion pass included in this for a year, and you are saving about $25 by having that wrapped in. So that's actually a pretty nice deal there. And then you can pre-order Donkey Kong Bonanza there, and this is going to be available at $63, and this is actually a discount from most other retailers going with the $70 price tag. So it looks like there's actually a teensy bit of savings that you can get by going through Costco. Again, it doesn't look like they're doing any sort of pre-order bonuses. You're going to have to go to your local Costco and just see if they have Switch 2 stock available on launch day. So I would definitely recommend, if your Costco is your game plan, get there early before they open, get a spot in line, because it is a limited stock, and they have not confirmed if there's any sort of ticket system like Target is doing, or any sort of event like GameStop is doing. I would imagine not an event like GameStop, probably a ticket system, if anything, like Target is doing. So that breaks down all the different ways you can attempt to get a Switch 2 at launch on June 5th. Hopefully this was helpful. Again, if you are not subbed on following notifications on for Jake Randall on Twitter, I would highly recommend doing so. I tell all my friends to do the same, because Jake Randall has constant updates coming in about the availability and the ways that you can go about getting a Switch 2 at these different retailers. So definitely a fantastic resource for checking all that information out. I hope this video was helpful to you guys. If it was, leave a like, comment, and sub, because that helps me out, helps the video out, helps the channel out immensely. Hopefully you guys can secure that pre-order or get that console on day one, and I will catch you all in the next one. Peace.